welcome to Good Game, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Barjo.
And I'm Hex. Do you love a good mystery, Barjo?
I do, Hex, and we had a good one over on Spawn Point hiding all those ocarinas, didn't we?
Games can be great for providing us with compelling mysteries to solve, but one game I bet you didn't guess to be loaded with riddles was that stunt bike game Trials HD.
Well, if you want to make your mark and reach people, you have to give them something to think about.
Yes, more of that later in the show. Plus, we'll be putting on our review pants as we return to the world of Dragon Age 2 to check out the story-driven DLC Legacy.
They're going to stop their attacks, one way or the other.
Well, that sounds final.
And how's this for a bit of a zombie variety pack? We're going to round up the undead in Trap Dead, Dead Horde, Dead Block, and Zombie Gunship. But first, can you name this week's mystery game?
I don't know you. Why are you asking me all these questions?
I'm off to read the news, Hex.
Good game.
Bethesda has issued Minecraft creator Marcus Notch Persson with a cease and desist letter over his upcoming PC card game, Scrolls. The letter states that Scrolls infringes on the Elder Scrolls property and will lead to confusion amongst consumers. Notch responded saying, "I sincerely hope Bethesda isn't pulling a Tim Langdell. Langdell is well known in the games industry due to his claims to own the word edge." Rumours are circulating that Team Bondi may be acquired by Kennedy Miller Mitchell, an Australian production company owned by Mad Max and Happy Feet creator George Miller. An anonymous source revealed to weblog Kotaku that Team Bondi boss Brendan McNamara had been seen in one of Miller's studios and stated that the word is Team Bondi is being folded into KMM.
I'm not denying anything. You have to have proof.
A Brisbane-based company known as Euclideon claim they are developing a technology that can revolutionise video game graphics. By replacing polygons with digital atoms, they say they can create 100,000 times as much detail as currently possible, and even render individual grains of dirt. Minecraft creator Notch called the video a scam, while id Software's technical director John Carmack said it had no chance of a game on current-gen systems, but maybe several years from now. Euclidion's CEO Bruce Dell responded stating it is not a hoax, but admits the company needs more time to further develop the technology. According to a report from the New York Times, North Korean Supreme Leader Kim Jong-il has been using gold farming to raise funds. Hackers were allegedly ordered to break into South Korean servers for the MMO's Lineage and Dungeon and Fighter, allowing unmanned computers to farm gold non-stop, raising over $6 million. It is alleged the hackers work for a Communist Party agency known as Office 39 that has previously been accused of raising funds for the regime through activities such as drug trafficking and arms sales. North Korea has denied the claims, accusing South Korea of inventing a conspiracy.
Good game.
Hex, the more I think about Dragon Age 2, the more I weep tears of sadness and remorse into my cold hands.
It wasn't that bad, Barjo.
Yes, it was! No, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't a bad game, but it was nowhere near close to the epic adventure of Origins, and now the devs behind Dragon Age 2 are kind of admitting that.
Yeah, in fact, senior producer Fernando Milo has actually been quoted saying that this new DLC, Legacy, is the first step towards addressing some of the feedback or criticism for Dragon Age 2.
I have a report you might find interesting. It tells of a chasm in the Vinmark Mountains, and a secret that was said to be buried within.
We'll do our best with spoiler avoidance here, but this is very short DLC, so you'll have to forgive us if a few things slip through. Legacy is a standalone tale that sees Hawke and his bunch of misfits venture into a magical prison, built by the Grey Wardens, in order to keep something called Corpheus at bay.
So we're just going to walk in, start cutting off heads?
Don't worry, Sunshine. The bloodstains come out.
Forget about slashing boring soldiers over and over again in the same tiny maps.
Corypheus will walk in the sun once more.
This is a battle with disgruntled dwarves on their own trap-filled compound, and you'll also be fighting some new, tougher Darkspawn who will not go down easy.
Yes, the Darkspawn have bought a bunch of shields, and they know how to use them. And in general, you need to be smarter about the way you approach combat in Legacy. The way enemies come at you feels more natural and also more dynamic. They'll ambush you now and then, and you'll be forced to flank and retreat at certain times. You'll need to be careful about target priorities. If there's a bunch of archers, you gotta take them down first, otherwise you'll just get slowly whittled away while you fight the bigger enemy.
On normal difficulty, you'll still be able to slash your way through with only a wipe or two, but on hard, you'll be pausing and scrambling to stay alive. There is one rather epic battle, which is almost as annoyingly difficult as that archdemon fight from Origins. It's quite spectacular, but we won't show that here. It's fun to discover that on your own.
There's some new animations here which I quite liked, but also I forgot how good these effects look. I didn't notice any new spells or abilities. You will only jump a couple of levels, so there's not much room for character and ability development, but there is some new gear, including this rather fancy ancient Grey Warden outfit.
The plot of Legacy will occasionally present you with the odd tough decision, but it doesn't make you live with the consequences in that glorious way that Origins did. And, you know, when they start offering you second chances in the decisions you've made, it feels like a bit of a cop-out.
Yeah, by giving you a second chance at a decision, it makes all that pain and torment you went through making that decision feel a bit worthless. Having said that, though, I forgot the character's name when I first made that decision, so I went with the wrong one anyway, and so that second chance came in handy. But still, I don't like that. Make me live with it.
Did Father do something to the Carter?
You've come to us now, and that's the only thing that matters.
The story does wonderfully tie into the lore of the Darkspawn, though, and the writing is definitely better this time around. I just really like that they're trying to explore Hawk's backstory a little bit more. Yeah, I love all the Darkspawn stuff. I think that's really interesting, getting into that lore, but as for Hawk and his family, I couldn't give a crap. I hate Hawk. I think he's a mad jerk.
Corypheus wants some blood. Sure, let me just open a vein. How about a kidney, too? Because I always like to follow the advice of tainted, crazy people.
In fairness, I always go for the jerk option. Still, chill out, Hawk.
You can also tell they've tried to give the world a more immersive feel and get away from the box-like vibe of the main game. It's great to see some new locations, finally. That whole underground section where the path winds on, it makes you feel like you're embarking on a big adventure. Yeah, it felt like there were more locations in this DLC than the entirety of Dragon Age 2. That might be an exaggeration, but it certainly felt like that. Yeah, it's a solid add-on with some decent loot, including a fancy sword which you can upgrade at certain points with a buff of your choosing.
I can feel it inside me!
It's nice to have a more traditional story-focused adventure, and I think it's a step in the right direction. I'm giving it a 7. It's just a shame it's so light on content. You can finish this in 3 hours, and I think if you did a bit of backtracking and did the couple of side quests, you maybe get 3.5 hours, but any more than that, I think would be pushing it. So, because it's so short, I'm giving it 6.5 out of 10. Still good, it's just short.
I remember when I was a very little boy, I still quite vividly remember my very first video game experience. It was in an arcade in the south of Wales, and it was a game called Killer Shark. It was pre-digital. It used a thing called a zoetrope to do the animation of these sharks that came swimming towards you.
Stay up over the beach. Watch the shark. Don't need a gun, did you read me?
That had a big impact on me. Space Invaders, of course, I love. The Zelda games are very dear to my heart. The way that they blended storytelling and gameplay in ways that really honored the gameplay and the interactivity of the game was something that had a big impact on me.
Good game.
All right, Hex, I think we've got time to deal with some of these emails. What have we got?
Okay, we've got this one from Hamish in Victoria. I just wanted to know your opinion on the launch debacle that is Star Wars The Old Republic. Well, all of us on the GG team are really looking forward to The Old Republic, so obviously we're pretty upset about the delay. But you know, we're Aussie gamers and we're kind of used to getting the short end of the stick when it comes to release dates.
And pressing.
Yeah, so it seems to be par for the course here.
I think what's really frustrating is that they can't commit to any time frame for its release. That, to me, says it's going to be quite a long delay for us, but why, Hex?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the nuts and bolts of setting up a massive MMO, but you'd think since this is EA's most expensive game ever, they'd be able to find a way to launch it in most major countries simultaneously.
You would hope.
Anyway, let's move on to this one from Vic05 in Brisbane, Queensland.
You can use my computer. You can just borrow it and
set up your own server.
Put the server on that and give it to.
I wouldn't put it past you.
I will give them my computer.
You would do that.
They can have my Celeron CPU.
Hi, good game. Are there any games where you're the commander of your own ship and you get your own personal transport? Well, there's more than a few that I can think of. You definitely should take a look at EVE Online though. It's a pretty full-on MMO, but it's got a very dedicated community, and if you spend time with it, you can earn yourself some pretty massive ships.
And it will absolutely stress you out.
Also, Evicron Mercenary is a pretty solid space game. It's a pretty steep learning curve, but you get your own ship and there's a massive universe to explore.
Unfortunately, there aren't many space combat games being made these days, so we'd suggest looking back to some of the classics. Freelancer was pretty good. You had your own ship and you could upgrade and travel around in it, and I also loved all of the X-Wing and TIE Fighter games. If you really want to get retro, you could go back to Elite, the father of all space exploration games, but it's pretty hard to go back to those wireframes.
Yeah, and there's also a couple of really cool looking space games in the works as well. Minor Wars is set to come out early next year on PC and XBLA, but you can buy it and play the pre-alpha version right now. There's also an epic space MMO that's been in development forever called Infinity, The Quest for Earth, and that's basically creating an entire galaxy, so who knows when that will actually be finished, but you can also play an early version of that right now.
And with that, we're out of time. If there's something you think we can help you us with, then why not ask us here?
Yeah, nice one.
Thanks.
Good game.
Have you ever played a game and noticed something strange, something hidden, something mysterious that made you go, Well, developers have been hiding riddles in their games for as long as they've existed. One game in particular has created a riddle so baffling that even 2 years after its release, clues are still surfacing.
The game is Trials HD. Released in 2009 on Xbox Live Arcade, players had to guide their motorbike through a series of tough obstacle courses in a world of exaggerated physics. Soon, however, dedicated players discovered there was more to this game than meets the eye.
Within this game, Trials HD, there is a number of Easter eggs or secrets that have been hidden within the game. Gradually, people have been uncovering these, and what we've actually subsequently found out is that all of these individual clues, they're all part of a larger riddle that exists within the game. The theory that I'm working on is that the clues can be placed into two major categories. One is a whole range of significant historical events. The other part of the clues that I guess I can see is they seem to revolve around mathematics or codes or clues or something like that. I tend to believe that those two things, one of them represents the answer, one of them represents the question. I'm not entirely sure how to piece them together.
While most games these days have simple, self-contained Easter eggs, the Trials HD riddle is bound to make your head spin. Check this out. Search hard enough and you might come across some squares. This is in fact the golden ratio, part of the Fibonacci sequence, an irrational mathematical constant studied for generations that appears countless times in geometry, art and architecture. Further on, you'll discover an image of two circles, thought to be found within the interstellar envelope, placed on the Voyager spacecraft in 1977 as a way of humans communicating to other intelligent life in space. And space is where you'll find a series of stars that make up the Orion constellation, the very same constellation found in the space station level of the game. The plot thickens when you discover two signs spelling out De Divina Proportione, which translates to the divine proportion, a manuscript about the golden ratio written by Luca Pacioli, an Italian mathematician who collaborated with Leonardo da Vinci. Da Vinci was thought to have been born in the year 1452 and was responsible for many great works in art and science, one of which was a sketch of a flapping wing, just like a sculpture found deep within Trials HD. And it goes on. Charles Darwin's Tree of Life, a DNA sequence, mystery boxes, binary code, Roman numerals, the number 42, an ancient map, notes to Ode to Joy, a woolly mammoth, and even a 15,000-year-old prehistoric cave painting. There definitely is something about riddles and mysteries that draws us in and keeps us hooked. So why do we feel so compelled to solve them? And more importantly, why would a game developer go to so much effort to hide one?
Well, if you want to make your mark and reach people, you have to give them something to think about. Something that touches their mind on a different level. Something that they will remember after the game is long gone. Well, generally I try to read lots of different books, watch different movies. I have different interests generally, and I like to try new things out. So it came together with all these different ideas floating around, and well, I put them in the game.
I think as gamers, we're interested in, we pride ourselves on being effective puzzle solvers. Whether it's in a game mechanic or whether it's actually something like this, I think we take pride in being able to say, yeah, I could figure that out, I was able to achieve that, I was able to get to that point. Granted, this is quite a difficult thing to get through, but again, as gamers, we like having, quite difficult tasks. I think it'd be a shame if it didn't get solved. I think there's been so much effort from a lot of people, including the developer, to put it together, and then a number of people trying to solve this.
Well, the riddle is still unsolved. People think that they know about Trials secrets, but the rabbit hole goes much deeper than that. I hope and I know it inspires some of our community, it inspires our track creators, and that's a nice little bonus.
With still no answer, Trials HD has at least proved one thing. A complex enough riddle can dramatically increase the lifespan of a game. So, the next game you're playing, scratch a little below the surface and who knows, you might just come across the next big mystery.
Good story, Goose. It seems the Trials HD rabbit hole goes deeper and deeper.
Indeed it does. But to help all those riddle solvers out there, we got an exclusive clue from Antti, the developer.
I can tell you one thing. Usually the question is asked first. Maybe that's the case here too.
Well, that makes it totally obvious now, doesn't it?
Not really.
No, it's still really confusing.
You better get out of here before Hex comes back.
Good game. I'm off to work. Enjoy your day collecting spider eggs.
Don't work too hard. Now to the Flight Master. What? No! Dad!
Oh, hi. And welcome to Game Bazaar, your one-stop shop for games.
Yeah, that's all cool. Just give me a subscription card for World of Wonkcraft.
Have you considered investing in a Game Bazaar Platinum card? This exclusive membership club offers exciting deals and offers. A badge, a t-shirt, and a 3% discount.
Mate, you're my flatmate. I just use your card.
Would you be interested in buying an extended warranty?
For a subscription card? In case I can't scratch the scratchy part off properly, that's just silly.
Would you like to subscribe to our in-house magazine, Game Intruder? It offers exclusive insights into all the hottest upcoming...
Look, mate, I've got the internet. I don't need any more dead trees.
Have you considered taking advantage of our new pre-owned pre-order program? The game of your choice is guaranteed to be ready and in like-new condition 1 week after launch, and you'll save...
Mate, I don't need this. I just want that card. I just want to level up my freaking goblin. I need that freaking mount.
Join the discussion, make friends, and have your say at the Game Bazaar game portal, where you can earn Game Bazaar portal points and stay on the cutting edge.
God, you always do this. I try to buy something, anything, and all you give me is grief. You're a griefer. Shut up. Shut up and take my money.
Was that really necessary?
He's late with the rent.
Just like the undead horde themselves, zombie games seem to spread and infect across every platform that we own at an increasingly growing rate. So we thought we'd check out some of the latest, and first up, the survival tactical horror of Trapped Dead.
It looks like somebody's still alive.
Trapped Dead caught our eye with its claims of being similar to the excellent PC strategy game Commandos, and you can see the influences. You'll be issuing move and attack orders to a small group of survivors through a series of missions, picking up whatever weapons and ammo you can find along the way and doing your best to stop your organs becoming dinner.
These zombies are the slow, shambling kind, so they won't notice you unless you run or get too close or make a noise. So you can usually sneak right past them, and they tend to just fall over when you hit them, so individually they aren't much of a threat. But it's only when you face a group of them that you'll need to start thinking tactically, and this usually revolves around just shooting an explosive, kiting them to a trap, or separating them from the herd and picking them off.
It's really slow going, and at first I quite liked that because quite often good horror is best when it's slow and tense. But the tension disappears quickly after your first encounter and you realise it's just a slow game overall. I got tired of waiting for those zombies to follow me around.
Yeah, I can appreciate what they're trying to do here, but it's just a bit of a mess. The controls are clunky and it's dull having to walk around so slowly. I quite like the comic book style presentation, and there was an attempt at a story, so I'm giving it 4 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Maybe things pick up later on in the game, but I'm just not inclined to stick around and find out. There is online co-op, but every time we tried to find a game, it just timed out, so we couldn't really test it. I'm giving this one 4. Next up, Dead Horde. This is a simple twin-stick shooter, and there's no real story here other than the fact that there's been a zombie outbreak. It's just a small handful of missions where you'll go from point A to point B, shooting at those brain-slurping zombies.
As you play, you'll earn cash to upgrade your weapons, but Hex, I felt a bit like a zombie playing this game because really all you do is just walk backwards while shooting. There isn't much skill involved.
Yeah, there are a lot of zombies and they take a lot of shots to go down, even after upgrading your weapons. There's just no excitement or strategy to be found here, it's just mindless. There are some vehicle sections which aren't quite as tedious, but still not much fun. And why does the combat roll need to recharge? I mean, a bit of combat roll spamming might have injected some much needed shenanigans into the combat.
I like a good twin stick shooter, Hex, but it's hard to recommend this when there's other games out there like Dead Nation or Zombie Apocalypse that just do it much better, so I'm giving it 2.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Yeah, it's not even that pretty to look at either. You could say that I was dead bored with Dead Horde. I'm giving it 2.
Next up, Dead Block.
The undead. They bring terror, they bring doom, they bring total devastation.
The basic idea here is that you have to smash everything in sight so you can find 3 items that let you rock out to finish the level. You do all this while boarding up doorways and windows and setting up traps to keep those pesky zombies out. It's all quite light-hearted. The zombie outbreak was caused by rock and roll, apparently, and it's all presented as a cheesy TV show with Team Fortress 2 style graphics.
Up to 4 of you can play local co-op, or you can just play through solo and swap through character types, with each one having their special ability. For example, this kid can throw a hamburger to distract zombies, while the builder can nail zombies into place. You'll need to set up a variety of traps and use bits of the environment to help keep the zombies occupied so that you can easily clean them out. But mostly you'll be breaking things.
Yes, as you can probably tell, this one isn't so good either. We're not having much luck with these zombie games, which is a shame. You spend most of this game just walking around, bashing the B button to break stuff, while playing these completely skill-free minigames to search through junk. And then once you've spent ages smashing things, you finally get to the end of a level for a terrible Guitar Hero style minigame.
You can see they've tried to take the successful Call of Duty zombie formula and put a zany spin on it, and it could have worked. It's just that smashing things gets boring really fast. They should have focused more on the trap making and the actual zombie killing, not beating up furniture. Also, why do metal shelves and fridges create planks of wood? I mean, what's up with that? I thought this was pretty rubbish. I'm giving it 3.
Yeah, there's not much to like, and just like Warhammer 40k Kill Team, there's no online co-op. I don't know who keeps thinking that's a good idea. I'm giving this 2 out of 10 rubber chickens. We have time for just one more zombie game, and it's called Zombie Gunship for iOS.
Weapons free. You're cleared to engage zombies.
This is one of those games where the name pretty much says it all. You're in the seat of the infamous AC-130 Spectre gunship, and there are zombies that need killing.
It's a simple idea done well. The only goal here is to stop zombies from getting into your bunker, but there are also civilians trying to run the gauntlet of death to get to safety, so you need to do your best to keep the path clear. If you accidentally kill 3 civilians, then it's game over.
You're doing more harm than good. Return to base.
Even if you're being super careful, it's really easy to hit the civilians, but it's okay if you let the zombies eat them first before you start opening fire. But it is very satisfying if you make the save.
Good save.
But that rarely happens.
Watch out, you're killing civilians.
Each game starts out quite slow, but eventually the waves of zombies will overrun you with larger, tougher zombies soon entering the mix. Every game is about trying to hold out that little bit longer. And there's actually quite a bit of strategy involved, because if you don't pick them off quickly, then it's going to be impossible not to hit a few civilians, because they all crowd up at your bunker. I mean, we thought we were doing pretty well, but some of those leaderboard scores are ridiculous.
You start off with just a basic machine gun, but as you kill zombies, you earn coins which you can spend on upgrading and unlocking new weapons, and that just kept me coming back for more Hex. You can buy coins with real money too, but it's never really necessary to do so.
These score attack style games are usually pretty casual and best played in short bursts, but I really liked this. It felt like it was ripped straight out of Call of Duty. This is just version 1 right now, so hopefully more levels are on the way, but even as it is, I'm giving it 8.5.
Yeah, it looks and sounds spot on, and all the guns have a weighty punch to them. We did find this one bug where the machine gun sound keeps playing even when you're not using it, but other than that, this is good, simple fun, and I'm giving it 8 out of 10 rubber chickens. And I know when there's a zombie apocalypse, I want to be in a gunship.
Hey, throw me a katana and they can bring it on.
So did you guess the game for this week? It was the console RPG Jade Empire from Dragon Age 2 developer BioWare. Set in a fictional kingdom inspired by ancient Chinese mythology, it had the same blend of XP gathering goodness, questing, and in-depth dialogue that BioWare had established with its predecessor, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. In fact, they used the very same Odyssey game engine.
Yeah, they really hit upon a winning formula and stuck with it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, we've come to the end of another show. Thank you to everyone who live tweeted along with us using the hashtag GGTV.
Don't forget to drop by the forums and leave some discussions. Now, next week, we finally get our hands on Deus Ex Human Revolution. Does it live up to the incredible legacy left behind by the first Deus Ex?
Plus, we're going to get down and dirty with some gaming house rules. We've certainly come up with some good ones around the office, haven't we?
FIFA has never been the same. Until next week, gamers, Barjo out.
Hex out.